Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So if you are both hating your diet, but also not getting results, you need to watch this video today. So let's get straight into it. So I saw this message, which I'm going to show you in a minute, on the internet, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. So let me read it out. So the message goes as follows. Talk me through this. I'm super frustrated. That salad yesterday. I've been eating like this for 2 weeks. Fasting 16 to 18 hours a day, whole food lunches and dinners, no alcohol, no sweets, no skips for my workouts, adding in additional walks and yoga, and the scale hasn't budged. It moved 0.25 pounds yesterday, but it's back up again today. I'm sorry to complain about this. I feel like I do it often. I can step aside and say, yes, I feel healthier and stronger, but the scale hasn't changed, and I don't feel like my pants fit has changed either. That's American. So basically this person is frustrated. They're doing all these things, cutting out foods, putting a lot of effort in, but not getting any results. So what's happening here is that the lady is both hating the diet process, but also hating where she is in life. So she wants to change. And the easiest thing to do here when you aren't getting results is the easiest of the two, right? It's not doing the diet. If you hate doing the diet and are also not getting results, what's the easiest thing to do? Like, what's the point, right? And so that's why so many people give up on their diets. So it comes down to the question of what is the less painful of the two things? Doing the diet that you hate or being overweight? And while doing the diet that you hate, it's often easier to then, just give up for a while, because then obviously the biggest issue comes back to you, that I am overweight. And so, like I said, people often give up on the diet, but then they end up having a trigger or a reminder of why they started in the first place. And then that becomes the biggest frustration, the biggest pain to them, which makes them start again. So it might be looking in the mirror and asking themselves, what's happened? Like, how have I let myself get this way? Or their doctor telling them that they need to lose weight, or a friend saying, or someone saying, are you pregnant? And obviously not being a baby, being overweight, and things like, an event, maybe wedding, holiday, things like that, which are a trigger to want to change. And then the cycle happens all over again. You start the diet, and there comes a point where you stop getting results and you're not enjoying it, it's not sustainable, and you forget about the reasons you wanted to change before. The biggest problem in your life, the biggest pain, the biggest frustration is the diet, and so you end up relaxing a bit more and then giving up, and then it happens all over again. So this is basically yo-yo dieting. So I want to explain what's happening here. So as humans, we are driven by two main things. We're driven by pain and we are driven by pleasure. It's for reasons of survival. So back in the day, we were driven by pain to run away from that tiger that was chasing us, or we were driven by pleasure to seek out food and satisfy our hunger so we wouldn't starve to death. So driven by that pain and pleasure in different areas of our life. And it plays out today as well in every area of our life. So for example, you have your phone. Let's say your phone is broken, you're driven by pain and frustration to get the phone fixed. Or if you're walking past the bakery, for example, you're driven by pleasure to buy your favorite cake. So everything you do is driven by these pains and these pleasures. The problem is that these are short-term pains and pleasures, and our goal, your goal, is a long-term pain and pleasure. And these contradict each other. So for example, the long-term pleasure of reaching your goal and losing weight is contradicted by the short-term pleasure of sitting down watching Netflix and eating all your favorite foods. The long-term pain of I hate where I am, I don't want to be overweight anymore, I don't want to feel like this anymore, is contradicted by the short-term pain of I don't want to cut out all my favorite foods, I don't want to go out and do exercise, I want to feel comfortable. And so there's these big contradictions in how we're driven day to day. We have the short term, which is more through our survival and our conditioning, and we have the long term, which is more goal orientated. So going back to the message that the lady posted, it's all about those short term pain she's experiencing. So she mentioned having salad every day, fasting for 16 to 18 hours every day, cutting out all alcohol, all sweets, not skipping any workouts. And all this and not getting any results. All daily short-term pain. So it's super frustrating for her. And all these things that she's doing are obviously going to lead to a miserable life, right? Focusing on those things and doing all those things is not enjoyable. So yeah, obviously she's going to give up. So this lady, she has tackled her weight loss problem from what I call an external point of view only. So the food and the exercise, as opposed to internal stuff in your mind. So only food and exercise. And also she's not done it in a very good way. So she's cutting out favorite foods and also skipping meals and things like that. And of course, that's never going to be sustainable. So it's going to be very hard to do. And so yeah, as a side note, I have included in my description below a link to how I advise people to eat with my hand-sized portion guide. So grab that below if you would like it. But let's move on to what I think that she is missing. So as I mentioned a moment ago, this lady is concentrating on all the external things, the food and the exercise, and missing out the internal things. So one of the big things I've seen she's missing, and this is just a judgment from her message, is clarity around her long-term pains and also pleasures. So number one, she is driven entirely by her short-term pains. So not getting any results, not seeing the scale move, not enjoying the diet, cutting out one of her favorite foods, instead of having the long-term reasons for change. And also number two, she has a complete lack of clarity on her pleasure. So what is she going to get in her life when she does change? So let me explain that. So assuming you are doing the right diet, a sustainable way of eating, again down in the description, you need to be super clear on the long-term reasons for change. So number one, your pains. So what is pushing you to change in every area of your life? And also the opposite. So what is pulling you towards it? So how will your life be when you do change? How will your life be better? What will you have? So your compelling future. And this bit is harder because it's not something you've experienced yet and requires active thinking. But it's absolutely essential to overpower those short-term pains and pleasures to have this long-term vision of where you want to get to. You need to have this exciting reason. When you are working towards a goal, it's never going to be a straight line. There's going to be ups and downs. So you need to have this exciting reason to overpower those thoughts about giving up, those thoughts about having an extra rest, those thoughts about giving in to temptation from other people. And so this exciting reason keeps you going and gives you that pull towards where you want to go. So let me be super clear on that. So how your weight is affecting you, the pain of change, the long-term reason, the long-term pain, how it makes you feel, how it affects your health, how it affects your relationships, how it affects your career, how it affects people around you, your family, friends, children, things like that, how it affects you in every area of your life, what it's stopping you getting, how it's making you feel, your self-worth, your self-confidence, all those things. So being super aware, not just seeing yourself in the mirror and thinking, oh yeah, I need to do a diet again. It's all these reasons, having the big picture of how living this way has caused you to suffer, basically. And the same for the opposite, so the long-term pleasure. So how your life will be when you reach your goal, your compelling future. What do you want? How do you want to feel? How do you want your health to be? How do you want your relationships to be? How do you want your self-worth, your confidence to be? How do you want to affect people around you, your family, your friends, your children? How do you want all these things to be? What are you not doing now that you want to be doing? And building a vision of where you want to get to. So you continuously pulled and you continuously have that exciting reason when you do have the ups and downs, because like I said, any journey is not a straight line. There's going to be ups and downs, but you need that exciting reason to keep you pulled towards it. And it's so, so important. And like I said, this requires active thinking because it's not something you've experienced yet. So you have to take some time to sit down and build this vision for yourself, like at least an hour, and come back to it and update it with new ideas and new wants, new desires, new pleasures that you want in your life. And I cannot stress how important this is to actually reach your goal. And most people don't do this. Most people don't realize that they're missing this. So if this lady were a client of mine, we'd get that sorted first. We'd be super aware of why she wants to change and where she wants to get to, and build this out and make sure she is conditioning herself to make these the dominant force in her life. And then we would build a sustainable food structure, including things that she enjoys. So it is a long-term way of eating. And this is how we would get her to her goal, basically. It seems very simple, but it's not what most people are doing. They're very unclear, they don't have clarity around the reasons for change, both the push and the pull. And also they're doing diets more and more extreme because they're not getting results, and making it more and more extreme for themselves and making it harder and harder and harder to stick to, and then blaming themselves. And it all comes down to both, like I said, the external things like food and movement, but also working on these internal things. So this motivation is one of the things you can work on internally. So this lady, following a process like this, number one, she will wake up every day driven to work towards her goal. And also number two, she will be able to actually enjoy the process because she will be including things she enjoys and not feeling deprived. So that's it. That's it for today, guys. So let me know in the comments if this has resonated with you, if you have struggled with a similar thing. And like as always, and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you in the next video.